Hello and welcome back to Car Rental University. I am your host, Alex Withrow. Today we're going to talk about which platform has the best day rate for the host on whether it be HighCar, GetAround, Turo, or Uber Car Share. Before I get into that, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. That also includes the Car Share Growth Guide, which gives you a city-by-city breakdown of which car share platform is strongest in your area. Lots of great information in there. We'll start out with HighCar. HighCar really is pretty cut and dry when it comes to the day rate. So you're really gonna make about somewhere between $25 to $35 a day on HighCar. It's not gonna really vary that much. Most of the cars kind of have a standard pricing. You can adjust the pricing, but it's really not that different, whether it be 42 bucks a day, 48 bucks a day, whatever. There's not really much leeway between that in terms of what renters will pay. Now, I will say the good thing about HighCar is that should you use them, there is a high likelihood of renters that will take your car for months on end. So you make that 30, 35 bucks a day every day, and they pay out every few days. So that is a very nice thing about HighCars is the long-term renters. But generally speaking, 25 to 35 bucks a day, it's not that great. I will say it is very nice that HighCar has long-term renters. That is probably the best part of HighCar. When it comes to GetAround's kind of an interesting car share app when it comes to this industry because they do not allow you to adjust pricing, and their whole thing is that they will say our algorithm can put together better pricing in certain areas and dynamically than you can figure out on your own. And I would say that most of the time that's probably fairly accurate. I would say that in terms of bang for the buck, their algorithm is pretty solid in terms of getting you money for sedans. Most cars on their platform are sedans. They're typically Toyota Corollas, Camrys, Priuses, those types of cars. Typically on average, I would say on GetAround, you typically will get around $50 to $55, $60 a day, around there. GetAround does allow hourly rentals. If somebody wants to rent a car for 2 or 3 hours, you would probably make about 25 bucks in that scenario. So that is nice for the owner that it gives you that option of the hourly rentals. In summer months, when it gets really hot, when the demand gets really high, you can make anywhere up to 75 to 80 bucks a day on GetAround. Obviously, if it's a newer, nicer car, it kind of sits in that range around 70 to 80 bucks a day. If it is an older car, it's probably gonna be more down in the 35 to 40 bucks a day. But I would say with GetAround, probably on average, you're looking at $50 to $60 a day. Obviously, newer cars are going to garner more money. That's not bad for their system, but they do not allow you to adjust the pricing in their system. So with regards to Turo is an interesting app because it does allow you pricing and how to adjust it. There's a wide variance in terms of how much your cars are going to make on Turo in terms of the day rate. I do think that if you adjust the pricing yourself, you really have to experiment with it. They do have an option on Turo where it allows them to set the price in their own algorithm and system. I would say be careful of that because in my experience, they just kind of lowball the price because they just want to get the car rented and get a transaction fee and a trip fee. That's really what they're trying to do when you put it on that setting on the app. I would experiment with it. If you're getting regular bookings, and especially if you're getting like far out bookings, a couple months out, I would start bumping that price. You really want to make sure that you're getting the most money that you can for that rental. And so if you have multiple rentals booked out 2-3 months at a time that are out on Turo, you probably want to raise your price. You want to make sure that people are kind of booking within the next 3 or 4 weeks. And in that scenario, it means you are getting a better rate for your car as opposed to if they are booking months at a time. In terms of day rates on Turo, there's such a wide variance of vehicles on that app. It can be all over the place. If your car is on the lower end of the spectrum, if it's an older car, you're probably looking at 30 or 40 bucks a day. It can go all the way up to 1,500 to 2,000 a day if you have a Ferrari on there. Exotics can garner that much. In terms of what you put on the app, it's somewhere between probably around 50 bucks a day all the way up to 150 bucks a day on average based on the type of car you're putting out there. If you're putting a BMW or a luxury vehicle on Turo, it's obviously going to be more around the 125 to 150 range a day. It's commensurate with the type of vehicle, and obviously they allow all kinds of vehicles on their platform. In terms of Uber Car Share, we don't know a whole lot about Uber Car Share yet. They've been kind of quiet, but I will say it's pretty similar to GetAround. Typically typically when you are getting a booking with Uber Car Share, and I can speak from experience since I do run a fleet up in Boston now, in that scenario, they are usually coming in around $40 to $60 a day in terms of the day rate. So Uber Car Share is not too different from GetAround right now in terms of the style of the platform and the types of cars that they are attracting to their platforms. It's somewhat similar. Overall, I would say that if you're trying to evaluate which car share platform is best for you, it really just depends on what kind of lifestyle you want. Another thing we didn't discuss is that if you put a car on a private rental agreement, the kind of thing where you can easily make $60 to $70 a day in a private rental agreement, yet you can also get a long-term renter in that scenario. So $60 to $70 a day, but making that money over the course of every day for 2, 3, 4 months at a time, that is by far the most lucrative situation in car share. That is also something to consider because that is really the most lucrative form of car sharing and rentals there is. It really just depends on what your lifestyle is like, which car share platform you like the most. If you're just about money, all about money, doesn't matter how much of a pain in the butt it is, I would definitely look at private rentals and also Turo. If you want a little more ease in terms of hands-off, a little more passive situation, I'd probably look at GetAround. If you like long-term renters, I would probably look at HighCar, but I say use HighCar with caution. It is a platform that is just riddled with headaches many times. That's really the breakdown of day rates, and I would say that there is a bit of a variance in terms of which car share platform is the most lucrative. It really depends on what kind of car you want to get and how important the rate is for you per day. All that to say, drop some comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Before I go, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you. Kairos Mobility Ventures, a startup in the electric mobility space as well as the peer-to-peer rental space. The big news I want to share with you is that we have launched a co-hosting program. Now, what is co-hosting exactly? If you are not familiar, it's when you as the owner of a car give us a car to manage and operate on your behalf. We handle everything. You just get a report and a check at the end of the month. In terms of repairs, incidents, issues, whatever, we will handle all of that. Basically, we give you a profit split. Right now, we are running a promotion for an 80-20 profit split. If you give us an electric vehicle, we will give you a 90-10 profit split. Some of you are not really cut out for operations, or you may just have a few cars and you're like, oh, I'm tired of this already. If that is you and you want to give your car to us up in Boston, we will manage your car on your behalf, send you a check, send you a report once a month. If you are interested in this, click below, grab that submission link and fill it out. I will get back to you shortly.